Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera. Anda sedang menonton Agenda AWANI secara langsung dari studio AWANI di Bukit Kewangan, Kuala Lumpur. Malam ini saya terpaksa membincangkan isu yang merenggut hati setiap insan yang pedulikan dan cintakan keamanan dan kemanusiaan. Kerana kita perlu kembali ke Gaza. Gaza tidak akan pernah dilupakan dalam sebarang perbincangan di Astro AWANI. Itu janji saya di sudut pandang dan kini di Agenda AWANI. Malangnya setelah hampir 72 jam kejahatan senjata berlaku, bermula kembali serangan terhadap Gaza. Dan seperti yang cukup kita kesali, masih lagi kanak-kanak juga yang menjadi antara korban pertama. Mereka yang bermain sementara menunggu sarapan disediakan dan tiba-tiba bom datang. Salah satu serpihan bom itu mengenai kepala kumpulan 5 atau 6 orang kanak-kanak dan beliau terus terkorban di situ dengan keadaan yang amat mengerikan. Dan serpihan bom yang lain pula mengenai salah seorang lagi kawan beliau dalam hal ini, dan kedua kakinya mungkin tidak akan dapat lagi digunakan untuk bermain apa pun. Dalam konteks ini, saya ingin membicarakan malam ini dalam pelbagai aspek kerana bersama saya ada seorang yang begitu berpengalaman membincangkan tentang keamanan, tentang kemanusiaan dan bagaimana untuk bergerak menuju kepada keamanan. Orang Malaysia memang berada di segenap dunia sekarang ini dan mereka yang kembali membawa berbagai ilmu. Dalam konteks itu, saya ingin berkongsi ilmu yang ada pada saudara Abdul Rahim Abdul Majid yang kerap kali melihat pada isu seperti ini, malah isu seperti di Palestin ini sejak sebelum dan ketika kes tragedi Sabra dan Shatila pun ada pengaman itu untuk dibincangkan. Namun sebelum saya bermula di sini di Kuala Lumpur, izinkan saya untuk bergerak dan bertutur dalam bahasa Inggeris kerana kita ingin juga pergi ke Gaza bersama dengan Pasukan Palang Merah ataupun International Committee of the Red Cross. Nanti kalau sudah dapat PCR, tolong beritahu saja kepada saya dan kita boleh bersama dengan Nadia Dipsi, jurucakap ICRC di Gaza. Sementara menunggu isyarat itu, mungkin saya nak terus pergi kepada saudara Abdul Rahim. Dan ketika Sabra dan Shatila berlaku, saya begitu muda, masih di bangku sekolah menengah. Tapi ketika itu pun impak tragedi itu sudah begitu kuat sekali. Bayangkan pula ini era di kurun ke-21 dengan garapan Twitter mendahului pelbagai televisyen dengan memberikan angka kematian. Di Gaza saja kini hampir mencecah 2,000, lebih 1,900 yang sudah terkorban, berpuluh ribu lagi yang mungkin terjedera sama ada secara fizikal maupun emosinya. Jadi bagaimana harus orang Malaysia yang ingin membantu lihat perkara ini?
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you very much, Shamsul. I think that this is an international issue. It's a humanitarian issue. This has been going on for a long time and for more than 60 over years, etc. And this involves all of us, of all faiths, all colours, all creeds, and certainly the people of Malaysia can provide a great deal of support in this process. Now, allow me first of all to say that yes, my fraternity and I, my family and I, have been involved with the Palestinian issue since almost 25, 30 years ago. We were involved essentially with the largest Palestinian NGO in Beirut, and they were the ones who were pushed out and driven out of their homeland since 1948. Sabra Shatila is core to all this. The Malaysian people have been very supportive of the Palestinians who have suffered under occupation and oppression for a very long time. And so far, alhamdulillah, I think we have our spirit correct. We have hearts in the right place. And it's a matter of mobilizing other international opinion so that together we can move forward to advocating something.
Saudara Abdul Rahim, I'm sorry to interject you for now, but I think Nadia is on the line.
Sure.
Hello, Nadia Dipsi.
Yes, hello, how are you?
Yes, I'm fine, thank you. But it's more about what you and your team are doing in Gaza right now. There's been a lot of conflicting reports on social media about what's happening in Gaza sometimes. So I would like to get from you, this is the first time I'm speaking to ICRC from Kuala Lumpur. Can you update us on the real urgency that the international community must impress all over the world on what's happening in Gaza? Because we do read and we have seen images, especially on the new media, about even those with the sacred symbol of neutrality of the Red Cross or even the ambulances and the people, doctors, they were also targeted. So can you brief us on the latest updates on this?
Well, I would say that firstly, talking about the urgency of the situation, I think there is extreme urgency in the Gaza Strip today. Our president was here a few days ago. He was extremely shocked by the huge devastation that you witnessed in the Gaza Strip, entire areas that have been hugely affected by this ongoing conflict that has affected the lives of thousands of Gazans, hundreds of thousands of Gazans. Almost 2,000 people have lost their lives, 10,000 people have been injured, almost 400,000 people have been displaced. We're talking about a huge humanitarian impact in one of the most densely populated areas in the world. Just to give you an idea, the Gaza Strip has 1.8 million people, inhabitants. It is the most dense populated area in the world. And all of the Gaza Strip from the north to the south has been severely affected by this in the last month. As I said, people have lost their homes. There are people with no electricity, with no water, difficulty of accessing medical services, as you said. Ambulances have been affected, have been attacked. Hospitals also, medical workers. I think that was an extremely challenging time for the population in general, looking for shelter, looking for safety, but also for humanitarian workers who were facing, like us, the ICRC, who were facing increased risks and challenges, security challenges in getting to these areas in conflict. But I think that our president came with the message that today is a time to move ahead, to move forward, to open up this humanitarian space and put the victims back at the center and the heart of this humanitarian space and really start helping people to rebuild at least part of their lives and what they've lost.
Nadia, is it true, can you confirm that there were even casualties among the members of ICRC team in Gaza itself?
They were not casualties in the ICRC, but there were casualties in our partner, the Palestine Red Crescent Society. Two of their volunteer ambulance drivers were killed trying to get to the wounded. They died trying to save lives, and that was one of the tragic, extremely tragic moments of this last month. I think not only for the Red Crescent, for hospitals, for medical workers, but for the population in general. I think that, you know, for people in Kuala Lumpur, it's important to understand that, you know, as I said, it's a lot of population in a very dense area. So even, you know, airstrikes or hostilities in these densely populated areas have a huge effect. You know, entire houses, streets have been, you know, demolished, destroyed. People have been displaced. People are sleeping either in schools or they're sleeping in public spaces. And this is the situation where, you know, there has to be urgent humanitarian action, and we've already started. We've been giving out mattresses, blankets, you know, washing powders, soaps, cooking equipment. We have surgeons that are working in the biggest hospital in Gaza, providing support for the surgeons there. We have water teams that are trying to repair water lines and electrical lines that were severely damaged in the last month, in the last hostilities. And I think that this is also a way for us to say that the humanitarian space needs to be taken back by the humanitarian actors.
Nadia,
and we need to work
I have to cut you.
more than ever.
Nadia, I have very little time left. My last question to you. There have been reports and posting on the Twitter world, for example, that sometimes after the bombing, it takes hours for help to come, whether from ICRC or from other humanitarian help, for example. So what is the real difficulty? Is it that the free-for-all targeting being done doesn't even allow your team and your partner's team, for example, to get to those wounded or hurt because it's not safe?
Listen, I would say that when you're trying to get an ambulance into an area where there is combat that's taking place and people are shooting at each other, it's the responsibilities of those who are conducting these hostilities in areas that are that have civilians in them to allow ambulances to arrive. There were many delays. There were many cases where we were not able to reach some areas. But I have to say that in many cases, lives were saved and people were helped. We could have done more. In some cases, we should have done more. And now we're definitely working towards helping this population get back on its feet and start to rebuild its lives. We can't do everything. We can't provide for everyone, but we have to begin this work, and it has begun, and it will continue.
Thank you so much, Nadia. Please convey, I think a lot of Malaysians would like to give support, and our hearts are with you on the very, very noble task that you and your team are doing over there. Thank you so much, Nadia.
Thank you so much for your call. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. I have to go for the first break, but once we are back, I would like to go back to Saudara Abdul Rahim and you know, because you've been with this issue for so long, more than 3 decades. How do you think we should move forward on this particular issue? That after this short break. The president of ICRC, we've heard from the spokesperson of ICRC in Gaza, Peter Morrow himself, has gone down to Gaza and see, and it's not acceptable, whatever it is being said about what's happening in Gaza, it's not acceptable when kids and all people and women, they are all a fair target, and they have been killed, and they are being injured right at this moment. So I'd like to go back to Saudara Abdul Rahim, and a lot of people in Malaysia wants to help. So maybe the right way to help is to have the right understanding of what essentially is happening. So you have a deep experience, your family has a deep experience, very close to this subject matter. So please guide us on how should we look at this issue.
Actually, you're talking about guidance. It comes from within. One must accept universal values. That's number one. In the sense that we all cherish the same things, we abhor the same things. And therefore, we must hold steadfast to it. The other thing is we must invoke in us the compassion which is innate in us. The compassion to look at what's happening and to offer help in whatever way we can to alleviate suffering. The third thing is the acceptance of what's happening around us, be it whatever it is, we accept the reality and work from that reality. And finally, empathy. Empathy in a world of diversity.
Okay. How do we have all that when people can just look at atrocities being done and they just want revenge and blood? Keep a hold on that, please, Mr. Abdul Rahim, because I have to go to the social media now with my friend in Kini Trending, and we've got to look at what's being talked about in the new media about this. Teruskan, ya.
Mengikuti Twitter orang-orang terus dari Gaza kerana kita tidak mengharapkan berita daripada media barat sahaja, dan kali ini kita boleh melihat terus apa yang sedang berlaku, maklumat terkini daripada Gaza bukan seperti dahulu lagi. Dan seperti juga apa yang dilaporkan Kamarul tadi, ada seorang kanak-kanak baru saja meninggal dunia akibat serangan Gaza selepas 72 jam gencatan senjata tamat. Dan tapi laporannya banyak, ada yang kata 10 tahun, ada yang kata budak umur 6 tahun. Tapi kita lihat saja tweet-tweet yang diberikan sejurus gencatan senjata tamat. Kolodiak menceritakan bangun saja dari tidur dengar serangan udara tentera Israel. Seorang doktor dari Gaza yang sering menjadi ikutan, Belal Dabur, memberitahu jirannya melaporkan serangan bom pada 11.38 pagi. Susulan itu, Belal melaporkan seorang kanak-kanak meninggal dunia dalam serangan itu. Menurut Belal, serangan berlaku di utara Gaza bukan di masjid berdekatan kejiranannya. Belal juga memberitahu serangan berlaku dengan cepat, iaitu 2 serangan udara dalam tempoh 5 minit. Jeanette Lieberman turut berkongsi cerita seorang kanak-kanak terkorban dalam serangan di utara Gaza seperti kata Belal. Gambar yang paling banyak dikongsi buat masa ini, seorang warga Palestin yang tidak peduli serangan tentera Israel ini. Selain itu, gambar warga Palestin yang malang membina tempat perlindungan daripada runtuhan rumahnya. Bila apa yang pasti, lebih 1,800 korban dan lebih 10,000 yang cedera akibat serangan di Gaza sejak 8 Julai lalu, Kamarul.
Terima kasih banyak, Ian. Dan saya memang berpendapat bahawa dalam krisis ini, maklumat daripada media barulah yang lebih cepat memberikan kita perkataan kerana ia datang dari pelbagai sumber di tempat konflik itu sendiri. But I would like to go back to Saudara Abdul Rahim and my earlier point. Yes, we must have empathy. Yes, we must have conscience. But even if we go back to 1982, September in Sabra and Shatila, you know, massacre it was. And now we keep seeing children being killed just like that. Maybe it's so hard to have empathy. Maybe it's revenge that's taking place first and foremost, for example.
Sure.
So how would civil society of the world now see this, and what could be galvanized? Maybe the experience of looking at how we seek justice for Iraq, for example, is to be looked upon here.
Sure. Civil society can organize themselves, for sure. The KL Foundation to Criminalize War is one very good example under the patronage of the 4th Prime Minister of Malaysia. And there must be many, many more events like that so that people can link their arms together, they can synergize together, they can collaborate together across the globe. Definitely the use of social media, the use of whatever kinds of communication must be employed in this process. Very importantly, while we are seeking for revenge, which is a human thing, I cannot imagine myself sitting quietly and just talking and pontificating in the studio. If my own family members were involved in this, and so too for you. However, those of us who are not in that kind of dire situation must help the others to move forward.
Okay, I have to go for the last break, but once we are back, I would like to tap into your experience, because one thing is for now to look at the current tragedy, but the hidden side, the emotional side, the psychological side, the fuel of the cycle of violence that can go on even if the bombing has stopped for years and years. And you've gone to Sabra and Shatila and you've looked at what happened after the tragedy. For example, what can we take out of that? And moving forward, why is it so very crucial? And maybe what kind of success are we looking at? Because it's so easy for people to say, it's been going on since 1948. It's useless to try any other. There's no UN solutions that's working. So if we're asking them to go and form a tribunal and try to bring justice, what hope do we give them that this will happen and this will be effective? That we'll discuss after this short break. Terima kasih kerana anda masih lagi. Saya sedang mengikuti perkembangan terkini melalui Twitter tentang apa yang sedang berlaku di Gaza. Kita tahu sekumpulan kanak-kanak telah pun terjejas dan ada seorang yang terkorban dan ramai lagi yang cedera, dan salah seorang yang cedera parah mungkin kehilangan kedua-dua kakinya. Dalam konteks itu, I would like to go back to Saudara Abdul Rahim, and it's very frustrating. We know we have to temper the clamour for vengeance with the right tool of civil society. Is in a sense must be a strategic response, and but how do we do that if people have been looking at it for 6 over decades and saying that, yeah, we keep trying that, it's not going anywhere, it's still happening again. It happened in 1982, now it's happening again in Sijaya, and it's reminding us of Sabra and Shatila. So you have this experience looking at Sabra and Shatila right after the atrocities. So what parallel can we draw, and what hope can we give for people who are seeking blood, but we're saying we must do it strategically and we must bring it to justice by the power of civil society?
Okay. How do we seek blood? A small boy with a stone in his hand? Is that how we seek blood? That will not change things. To suffer oppression and lie down and enjoy it, that will also not change things. My simple adage in this is, help them experience the pain they inflict on others, and then they will stop. But that also is only one aspect of it. Talking about Sabra and Shatila, we've worked for a long time now, 25, 30 years, with the largest Palestinian NGO in Lebanon, and they have been catering for thousands of families throughout all the camps in Lebanon. They provide vocational training, they provide counseling services, they provide kindergartens, they provide sponsorships of orphan children, and we've got about almost 200 decent, well-meaning Malaysians who support this effort. And as a group from Malaysia, we support something like 250 families with kindergartens, etc. And we make annual visits to see to it that things are done the way it should be done, etc. And I must say, we came away humbled by the fact that there are angels on the ground. Now, we also managed to do it because there are non-Muslim NGOs, European NGOs and Japanese NGOs who provide 90% of the funding to this Palestinian group. We have to cut across borders, we have to cut across creed, faiths and belief. And for example, it's becoming more and more difficult to send financial aid to the Palestinian camps in Beirut, etc., and into Gaza. But with the help of non-Muslim NGOs, Europeans, etc., we've managed to, within quotes, break the siege. And one particular individual stands out. This is by the name of Aung Suu Kyi.
Okay.
She is out from UK. She is with the Medical Aid Group. She has done tremendously work there, and she has also been in the thick of things when the massacre was taking place in Sabra Shatila. Now, she is one of those persons that we work very closely with, and you wouldn't believe it, there are Irish persons on the ground that we work with, etc., in Gaza itself, and constantly there is this conduit of support for them. Strangely, after 6 decades, the people in Beirut, you wouldn't believe it, they are coping with the scars that were inflicted on them, and you wouldn't believe it too. They're behaving like ordinary individuals, full of hope, etc., because the hand of hope is coming from Malaysia, the hand of hope is coming from Europeans and Japanese, etc., around the world. So there is hope. We have just to mobilize ourselves, do not give up, find those avenues by which we can create a niche for ourselves, and certainly keep the fires of aspiration going.
So for a conflict that has started divided along ethnic lines and religious lines.
Oh yes.
The salvation is coming from the exact opposite.
Precisely.
People of all creed, religion.
Precisely. We are all common. We all have a.
Do we
have
hope
creation.
to bring the perpetrators to justice in the future, using the model of tribunals?
You'll be surprised. It's not only the tribunals. I think we've reached a turning point.
Okay.
We've reached a turning point. And I think that they will no longer get away with impunity the way they're doing it. And the time has come.
Okay.
Now, one final point is they can learn from the Malaysia-Singapore experience. Malaysia gave up the crown jewel called Singapore, and there was not a single bloodshed in the process. That has never happened in the entire history of the world. People fight to maintain territory. The Malaysians give it up.
Okay, you have to come back to discuss that. Thank you so much, Saudara Abdul Rahim, for making the point. You have travelled everywhere. I hope I have do justice in bringing up some of your experiences to ponder. Hantarkan pandangan anda sendiri tentang perkara ini kepada pelbagai platform yang Astro Awani ada, dan insyaAllah kita akan terus membincangkan isu Palestin dan Gaza tidak akan pernah dilupakan di Astro Awani sehingga adanya keadilan dan keamanan. Sekian, selamat malam. Terima kasih. Jumpa lagi. Thank you so much.